swinging a pop-up. First base side foul, ground playable. Perez, Santana makes the catch. Ball game. The Indians have won the American League pennant. And Cleveland, for the 6th time ever, you will have a World Series. In the air, territory. The Cleveland Indians are going to the World Series. The Cleveland Indians have won the pennant. Terry Francona and his sensational bullpen, they're headed to the Fall Classic. They haven't won the series since 1948. They haven't been in it since 1997. On Tuesday night, they will host the opener for the first time in franchise history.
And it is time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the party. Welcome to season 8. This is the captain, and this is TLC. I think I like the way my new studio is set up. I mean, I got St. Louis all over the place. I got a blues flag that's actually en route here to our new studios. I love it. I really love it. Thank you, 3-1 Fortune Media, for the great dibs. We'd also like to thank basically the Retreat for their nice little contribution as well. This has been relatively awesome. I mean, this is just gorgeous. We are here live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And by the graces of God, we are in the house. Now, folks, you obviously heard all the sound bites from yesterday's big Game 5 of the ALCS. But before we even go into any kind of sports-related situation whatsoever, I don't walk alone. And I don't come alone either. That's what she said. When it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, I have at least two of the craziest, smartest sports minds out there. They're the creator, CEO, and chairman of Overload. Did you actually see on the RGW network? I believe they run themselves at least Tuesday nights or somewhere around those lines. Ladies and gentlemen, the man himself, the living legend, Mr. Teashaun Jones. Can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Man, I'm actually excited to be on the show this season. I know I've been on a couple of shows last season, but man, to be back first show, oh man! And thank you for the introduction too.
I think that was pretty much about as good as I can make it, and I thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I didn't get the chance to say this. I think I did via some couple of messages, but congratulations. In case you guys missed over the summer, Mr. Jones actually got himself somebody who actually can handle his insanity. And big congrats goes out to Mr. Jones, who actually exchanged vows with his lovely wife, Kendra, over the summer. And just so we're all clear on this one, no, I had no hand in that one. This was all Teashaun and Kendra. So big congrats goes out to both of them on the nuptials. Very proud of you, brother. Very, very proud of you.
Oh man, thank you so much. Yeah, someone that can handle my craziness, someone who can put up with my BS. It's hard to find because obviously, it's like a needle in a haystack, but she hit me.
That's the beauty of it, folks. Now, unfortunately, I've got some bad news. And that bad news comes in the form of a gentleman who I can honestly say is the biggest asshole on the East Coast. On top of that, he's probably the epitome of the bearded, fluffy smack talker Skywalker. He is the pride of some weird, crazy mountainous town in West Virginia, and he's also probably the biggest gaming guru on the history of all time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the bad news continues as we welcome back for season 8. We welcome Big D himself, and I'm not talking about Dallas, Doug Barrett.
Hello, ass clowns.
And it's going to be fun. We will actually be joined by our fourth member momentarily. Hopefully, he is actually getting his coffee in, and he'll be actually joining us later on in the broadcast. But as it has already been shown, and it is official. No more crying, no more excuses, no more nothing, ladies and gentlemen. Deja vu has hit us hard. Hit us hard in every sense of the word. The Chicago Cubs are in the National League Championship Series for the second straight year. And the best part, for them at least, they didn't have to go through the St. Louis Cardinals to actually get there. However, they did have to stave off the even-yeared Giants, who we all know have a history of showing up in even years. So for the first time in, I'd say, the last 5.5 years, the San Francisco Giants will not be the team that is representing the NL in the World Series, which I'm pretty sure makes everybody, including that little yiping dog back there, happy. But the work is not done for the Cubs as they now go into a heated battle with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Last night, well, let's start with 2 nights ago. The Dodgers actually got a 1-0 victory, and of course, everybody was saying that it was because of Clayton Kershaw's pitching. I'm sorry, but unless Clayton Kershaw pitched a complete game that night, you can't put it all on Kershaw. 1-0 was the final score on that, which means the bats were asleep and means the Cubs were on the ropes. The Cubs bounced back last night with a couple of homers, including one from a guy who I believe was 1 for 25 in this postseason and hit a 2-run shot to extend the Cubs lead. Cubs end up evening the series last night. Game 5 tonight. Gentlemen, let's just go right down to it. Are you surprised at the fact that the Cubs are actually here at this position right now, as opposed to what they were last season when they got swept by the Mets?
Checking out their record, I'm kind of shocked.
Why is that?
I'm shocked either because the Cubs, if I am wrong, the Cubs at the start of the season favored to win it all because of how well they were during the offseason. Well, they were, so this is not shocking to me at all.
Well, in all honesty, let's just be as realistic as possible. The teams that have actually had like the best records and clinched up 100 win seasons in the past, how many of those teams have actually gone on to actually win a World Series following a 100+ win season or the best record stake? I mean, let's just be as realistic as possible. As good as everybody's all hyped up about it, do you see any chance that the Chicago Cubs can lose? Mr. Barrett, we'll start with you. Is there any chance that the Chicago Cubs could possibly lose the NLCS to the Dodgers?
You know what? A chance, because I know the Dodgers, I think, lead the series right now, so there is a chance. But I don't see it happen just because I think Chicago can't let that happen, because if they lose to the Dodgers and the Dodgers move on, the Cubs fan base literally probably all die of a heart attack because they were so close again, but from the wind, it got blown out.
Mr. Jones?
You know, with the Cubs, I'll be real. I'm not a big baseball fan, but I've been trying to catch up on what's been going on. I'm like, the Cubs are actually in. But, I'm not saying that they're losers, but, they are one of the teams I will say we're going to hang in there from what I'm seeing.
I think that when it comes down to it, everybody who knows me, they know how I feel about the Chicago Cubs. They know I am a die-hard St. Louis fanatic. I mean, when I say St. Louis fanatic, I literally wipe my ass with that infamous W that the Cubs fans always sit here and like fly out after the wins. I'm the guy that sits here and pisses on a Chicago Blackhawks flag any chance I get. That is how much animosity I have towards the Cubs and towards Blackhawks and towards the city of Chicago as a whole and sports-wise. But even I am taken aback a little bit because I thought that it was going to be one of those things of where, maybe, just maybe, the Cubs might actually do something that's going to shock the world. But instead, what the Cubs are doing right now is doing the exact same thing they did last year. The only difference is that they have 2 wins in the LCS as opposed to 0 wins with what they got last season. And I honestly say that for my taste, a part of me wants to root for the Cubs because, quite frankly, when I usually root for a team, that team chokes as has been proven in recent memory. When I start rooting for the Cubs, when I start screaming out "Fly to W," I'm kind of wondering if the same reverse psychology will actually start happening there, which is probably going to send everybody into a loop saying, "Hey, you know what? I don't think we're going to do this. We're not going to do this. No, no, under no circumstances will we sit here and go there. But yeah, we're going to go there. Of course, we're going to go there because of the fact of everything that has happened. I'd like to see the Dodgers go to the series again, especially with this rookie manager who is literally holding his own against a seasoned vet like Joe Madden. And Joe Madden, let's just call a spade a spade. Joe Madden is the same guy who took the Tampa Bay Rays to the World Series almost 10 years ago. 8 years ago, this man took the Rays to the World Series and they almost won it all. This is going to be the Achilles heel for those very same Cubs. Joe Madden can get you there, but can Joe Madden actually take you there? Can he take you to that promised land and you hoist up those ruby red slippers that everybody wants so badly? That's what it's going to come down to. So a part of me feels bad for what's about to come, but I can honestly tell you that it's about to get crazy and it's about to get real nuts and real nuts in LA and Chicago. And right now, I'm actually watching videos of Rich Eisen's actually talking about the ALCS right now, which is a perfect little opportunity there to actually talk about it because I know Doug doesn't like it. But we're going to do it anyway. Why? Because fuck Doug. That's why. This is what we do, Douglas. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations goes out to the Cleveland Indians. Yes, folks, you heard it right. Cleveland officially does rock in every sense of the word as the Cavaliers prepare to hoist up their first championship banner, I think, in this era. And literally, and the same night that the Cleveland Cavaliers start up their NBA season and hoist up their championship banner, the Cleveland Indians will be hosting Game 1 of the World Series. Douglas, I'm sorry, I got some bad news for you. Yeah, it's coming. Ladies and gentlemen, this one's for Doug. Sorry, Douglas, but you knew it was coming, and let's just be as realistic as possible. Everybody else is out there playing Cleveland Rocks. We're playing the main reason why everybody even knows Cleveland exists and that Cleveland's on the map. It is because of the fact that Bone Thugs and Harmony, one of the original innovators of hip hop ever. And the bottom line is that thanks to this one, we may actually see Bone Thugs and Harmony maybe singing the national anthem in Game 1 of the World Series. Hell, they might even sing, take me out to the ball game in the 7-inning stretch. Who knows? But the Cleveland Indians are in the World Series. Doug, are you as excited as the city of Cleveland is?
I still want to, you know what? I'm going to say this, and I mean this as nice as I can. Fuck the city of Cleveland. Only good thing about Ohio is not the Cleveland sports team. It's not the Rock and Roll Hall in Cincinnati. That's the only good thing about Ohio. Fuck everything else in Ohio.
Wow. Take them. Get them. You have my permission. Get them.
Did you forget about the Ohio State Buckeyes college team? No, I'll say this. I feel that we're better. Better than the Browns, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's actually got a point. I'm going to actually go with him on that one. I don't like the Buckeyes either, but the one thing that's actually been as clear as day is when Bone Thugs Armor was actually popular, Michigan was actually the one owning Ohio State. Now we fast forward to literally 20 years later, and now all of a sudden we're talking about a moment in time that has only been seen, I believe, once in my memory, and that is we actually looked it up before we actually went on the air. The last time this has happened is 2004, in which the New England Patriots actually beat the Carolina Panthers. And then on top of that, about, say, 8-9 months later, the Boston Red Sox broke the Bambino curse and swept the Cardinals to win their first World Series since the great Bambino era. Now, we're possibly talking about history repeating itself as, of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers sat here and actually defeated the Toronto Raptors in the Eastern Conference Finals back in June. and now all of a sudden, and then turned around and actually beat the heavily favored, overpowering powerhouse known as the Golden State Warriors. And bear in mind, they were down 3-0. They were down 3-0. Came back and swept, or in some cases, Gordie Howe swept the defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors to win the NBA title. LeBron owning up and getting exactly what he was basically preaching for, what he promised. He fulfilled that destiny. I hate that son of a bitch, but he lived up to the hype. So LeBron, congrats. Cavs, congrats. Now here we are, fast forwarding to 4 months after that. And for the first time, I think ever, we're actually going to have the Cleveland Cavaliers hoisting up their championship banner on October the 25th, so in 5 days. And then also that night, game 1 of the World Series right across the street at Progressive Field between the Indians and either the Cubs or Dodgers. I gotta say, Ohio is a hot spot right now. So if you've never been to Ohio, if you've never been there, this would be the perfect time to go because you got literally sports coming out the wazoo. I don't think anybody expected literally. I figured they'd be talking about the Cavs, but to be talking about baseball in October and even putting the words World Series in front of it, we're talking about history in the making. So that being said, hypothetical. Let's say the Cubs and let's see the Cubs face the Indians in the World Series. Now we already know that the Indians are there. Now it's just waiting for either Chicago to either finally kill their own Bartman predictions, or for that matter, they're also waiting for basically the Dodgers to sit here and continue that infamous curse on the Cubs, which is pretty much what they're famous for. In any event, here's the biggest question here. Let's just say Indians, Cubs, World Series. How do we put this one as bluntly as possible? Oh yeah, Adrian Gonzalez, you're safe. You have a legitimate gripe. If that does indeed happen, who do you have? If that is indeed the game, who takes the World Series?
I'm not going to say the Cubs would choke, and I'm trying to be as nice as I can. But I honestly see the Indians going off with the win. And this will be history in the making.
I mean, we're talking about, let's see, 100 and what's it now? 112 years now? Somewhere around 112, 110, something like that, as far as how long the Cubs have actually won a series. So they haven't even won a ring. Let alone know what a ring looks like in the past the Roaring 20s. The Indians, I believe, haven't won a series since 1948, and I believe that's pretty close to about almost 70 years. So we're talking about 68 years since the Indians actually won the World Series pennant, and they actually look fantastic and phenomenal when it actually comes down to it. They look phenomenal as far as it goes. I mean, they swept the mighty Red Sox, who were one of the most dominant teams in the AL this season. Then they turn around and actually they practically gave the Blue Jays a gift 2 nights ago when they actually won. I mean, I'll call it exactly like this. It's the same thing that the Cavs did to the Raptors. Both teams were heavily favored, the Blue Jays and the Raptors. Both teams heavily favored to sit here and actually beat Cleveland. Toronto, the Raptors had more of a chance of beating the Cavs than the Thunder beating the Warriors. It just was not going to happen, no matter on what planet you're sitting here on. I don't know why people were sitting here assuming that was going to be any different, but that's besides the case. But here's the biggest thing. The biggest thing that gets me the most about all of this is that we are actually talking about the possibility that the Cleveland Cavs and Cleveland Indians will be celebrating world championships for the remainder of 2016. And I know it drives Doug crazy, but we also may be looking at the chance that the Ohio State Buckeyes may actually follow suit and win the national championship coming up in January. So when you're putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, guess what? Ohio has a fever, and their prescription is getting filled right now with these championship opportunities that are getting. I mean, let's look at it. I mean, Dolph Ziggler practically is literally filling the dream. The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, both from Cleveland, Ohio, have been Intercontinental Champion this year. And during that time frame, after the Miz won the Intercontinental Championship the night after what was it, WrestleMania? After the night after WrestleMania, He turns.
And that's the man.
And then turns around. The Cavaliers a couple of months later win the NBA championship. Now Dolph Ziggler wins the Intercontinental Championship at No Mercy, and also the Cleveland Indians are in the World Series. Are we talking coincidence here? Quite possibly. But let's call a spade again. This may be the one time where actually being from Ohio is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. All right. I think we basically got all of that crazy madness out of the way as far as baseball goes. We're going to take a quick time out here. We will come right back. We're going to see if basically my colleague is like awake and ready. And then we're going to sit here. We're going to rock the cast ball one more time with part 2. We're going to be talking WWE. And yeah, it's going to be just as bad as you think it is. So get ready for that one. We'll be back in just a moment. Okay. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to TLC Season 8, already off to a crazy off the wall start. Again, congratulations to the Indians and best of luck to the Cubs and Dodgers. Game 5 for that NLCS is tonight, and of course, Game 6 will be coming up in the next couple of days. I just want to take a quick heads up. This edition of TLC is brought to you by Coca-Cola and Oreo for those weird, crazy moments when you literally just have to be the man, but sometimes you gotta let that inner child have its fun too. Oreos and Coke, the perfect 1-2 punch for all things game and sports related. Now, that being said, I just want to send a special what the hell you're thinking moment to the NFL, mainly to their guys who handle their website. If you actually go on to NFL.com right now, you'll actually see a little picture that's basically we're telling everybody to vote for Week 6's best clutch performance. Obviously, a couple of guys are in that midst. We all know who they are. 2 of those men happen to be, Brock Osweiler and Blake Bortles, and of course Odell Beckham Jr. or Adele Beckham Jr. However the hell he's calling himself now. We'll get on him momentarily in our next segment. But I want everybody to pay close attention to Blake Bortles' photo in this picture. And it's basically got the picture up as well. If you look very closely behind Blake Bortles is currently a quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if you know where I'm going with this, tell me if you heard it before. So they got a picture of Blake Bortles up on NFL.com. It's actually for the right reasons. He actually is looking pretty fierce and tough in his attire. He's actually sporting the Jaguars helmet, no less. But yet, for some reason, if you look a little deeper behind Blake Bortles' picture, you will see the logo of, dare I say it, the Carolina Panthers. No, I'm not making this up. I can literally look at this picture and I see the logo, the cat, the actual cat of the Carolina Panthers, because the Jaguars cat is on the side. The Panthers cat is kind of looking at you from an angle, but you can pretty much tell the difference between the Jaguar and the Panthers logo. But apparently NFL.com has no idea what the hell they're doing. Living proof, it's showing right here, right now. Like I said, if you go to NFL.com, you will see it for yourself. It's by far probably the most embarrassing moment that NFL.com's ever seen ever since they sat here and said that, well, Tom Brady was going to basically win the Super Bowl. But that's besides the point. Now, we go from one crazy Super Bowl mania moment to an actual thing that's happening. WWE, if you pretty much, as I said, if you were under a rock all summer, WWE actually took its 2 major brands, SmackDown and Raw, and split them into 2 once again. Why is this significant? Because WWE now has 2 major champions, one being the WWE World Champion, currently held by the phenomenal AJ Styles for some weird ass podunk reason. Apparently, they figure 2 trailer park girls going around the outside, might as well sit here and make AJ Styles the man, or something like that. The other man happens to be Kevin Owens, who currently is the defending, longest reigning, undisputed WWE Universal Kool-Aid Champion. Why do I say Kool-Aid? Have you seen this belt? Do I need to say more? If you haven't seen the belt, go ahead and take a look and tell me you don't want to scream out, "Hey, Kool-Aid!" Oh, and watch. Oh, wait, I should not have said that because Andy Reid might actually come crashing through my wall. Oh, shite. Sheep! I'm in trouble. Anyway. Yep, here we go. So we got Hell in a Cell coming up. It is basically Raw's second pay-per-view. Now, obviously SmackDown had their moments in their time, and yeah, it was like great and all that fun stuff. But the biggest thing here, the biggest thing to realize about this whole crazy worst case scenario is, quite frankly, we have ourselves a nice little conundrum. Nobody's watching this thing because of the possibility of Owens versus Rollins for the Kool-Aid Championship. They're not even going to watch it for Roman Reigns versus Rusev and what's left of Rusev's mighty beard. They're actually watching because history will be made, which will probably shoot SmackDown back up at least to a manageable ratings boost, in which the women's championship, the Raw Women's Championship, will actually be defended inside Hell in a Cell, as Charlotte will look to basically make it a 3-time title reign against current two-time women's champion Sasha Banks. You're welcome, DDP. I know you enjoyed that one as much as I did. Now, gentlemen, I already heard the snores when I started running down the major points of this card, and obviously we got something we have to basically talk about this soon. Does anybody really want to talk about Hell in a Cell right now, or do I actually hit the big D button?
Hit the damn button to blow it the fuck up. Well, before you do that, I'm actually excited about the women's Hell in a Cell. It would never happen in WWE or WWF. This is history right here, and I'm excited to see what they want to do. Although I've been hearing a lot of backstage talk about how Vince is not happy with Charlotte right now, because there's a lot of dirt sheets, but then when dirt sheets spread across comics and different genres of entertainment, you see this. This man's kind of upset with Charlotte because she wants to hit a high spot, moonsault off the Hell in a Cell. I'm like, do it. Do it. Gotta do it.
Why am I actually surprisingly comfortable with that? Why am I comfortable with that? I mean, that's just insanity, right? I mean, we're talking about the women. We're talking about the women going at it. And that's the thing that's actually got me more intrigued by this one. And it seems to be almost funny of how the women are starting to get like the most hype from practically not just Raw, but also SmackDown and NXT. Because if I'm not mistaken, and I believe I read this correctly, Mickie James is back in WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, there's your breaking news shocker of the moment. Asuka in Toronto, no less, a very burned Toronto right now as people are starting to riot. NXT TakeOver Toronto coming up in November. It will be Asuka defending the Women's Championship, the NXT Women's Championship, against Mickie James. Now, I may not be much for facial expressions in any way, shape, or form, but are you basically just saying that your women's division on NXT sucks so badly that you couldn't sit here and actually put a rising newcomer like such as Ember Moon in the spot where you're putting somebody who hasn't wrestled in the WWE since, I would say, probably since I was still young enough to know when I'm supposed to cut myself off?
You know what? It's a smart move. It's a smart move. But I wasn't expecting Mickie James to come back to the WWE. I'm thinking maybe they'll bring back, I don't know, either Lita or Ivory or somebody of that nature to motivate the younger wrestlers. I was not expecting Mickie James, but it's still a smart move for Mickie James, seeing how TNA was going down. But yeah, you know where I was going with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, man. But it's a smart move. It was a surprise move, to see that this is going to go down. Maybe she had to finish some of her, contracts, legal law, whatever, with TNA. That's probably why it's happening in November. But, like I said, it's going to be very interesting because, and you know what, to be honest with you, WWE has been pushing this train of female wrestling to new heights because I want to say it was either this year or it might have been last year. I'm thinking it might have been this year. Sasha Banks and Bayley had that Iron Man match, and good God, they went extreme, too extreme, crazy. When the female wrestling match was the best highlight of their year, and that's saying something. It's what's going on with the guys,
Definitely agree on that one. And I mean, when it's basically, it's one of those things of now of where I kind of just have to just take a step back and realize that maybe, just maybe, what we're seeing is them putting the women in the spotlight because women seem to be the only thing that's actually saving this company. They're actually the only reason that's basically saving this brand split right now. It's basically the tenacity of these women. I mean, honestly, that Carmella pipe bomb on Nikki Bella was actually phenomenally fantastic. I believe that the Charlotte Sasha Banks storyline is basically getting itself heated up. I think the Dana Brooke Bailey storyline is actually getting some push. This weird, crazy Natalia mentality she's got going right now. It's almost like they're honestly about to break her because she's literally going to this point where she wants to sit here and take so much time talking about her cats and her cat's Instagram, which for the record, I can confirm, Two Paws is indeed her cat's Instagram account. And I had to follow it just for the hell of it. But the honest truth on it is that I think that if this Hell in a Cell does not work well, and obviously with Survivor Series literally right around the corner, and we know for a fact there will be a Team Raw, there'll at least be 3 matches with Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, and one of those being a women's match. You either basically step up, or as Doug has so auspiciously put it over the past couple of episodes, you'll fade away and classify yourself as obsolete.
Yes.
Which brings me to the next round of this nice little segue. Man, I mean, this is actually going smoother than I expected it to for basically season 8 and the fact that it's October and I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico. TNA. How do we put the? Let me count the ways. We'll start the bidding at $50 million. $5 going once, going twice. $10. So for $10 on a slice of pizza, he can keep the $10. We'll take the slice of pizza. Yes, that's right, folks. We're not just blowing smoke up your ass. TNA is actually pretty much still up for sale. The literal sense of the word, TNA is shit. But it's not as bad a shit as you may have expected. And the reason being is, quite frankly, there's right now honestly only one man who's actually saving TNA and making it watchable. And no, it's not Doug Barrett. Surprisingly enough, it's not Doug Barrett. It's not Christine Bring It. It's not even Elsie Bernetti. It's not even those guys. It's actually Matt freaking Hardy. Yes, Paul Heyman. Yeah. Paul Heyman loves that fact that I basically mentioned Matt freaking Hardy, and you're welcome. You're welcome, Chunky Checkers. When it actually comes down to it, Matt Hardy, as is a broken man, has done more for TNA in the last few months than I'd say, and this was all due respect because he is family and I love him to death, than Bobby Lashley basically being world champion. Although making that world championship enjoyable has been a great thing, but the fact is that TNA is pretty much on life support right now. And it literally got proven when people were starting to wonder if Bound for Glory was even going to happen. Now all of a sudden the rumors are swirling that Vince McMahon bought TNA, that this Billy Corgan guy bought TNA. Let me just put it as bluntly as possible. The last time I heard the name Billy Corgan in any conversation, it involved a Simpsons episode and Homer Simpson basically sending cannonballs into his gut. That's honest to God truth. I've only heard 3 Smashing Pumpkin songs in my entire lifetime. One of them, my nephew Alex actually sat here and used to sing to me every single morning when I grab my coffee and head off to work. And Honestly, tonight, I only knew about because of way back in the day when baseball was actually real, when baseball mattered. They used to have that song for, well, the playoffs then. That's when Derek Jeter was still the greatest Yankee of all time, and Ichiro was actually playing alongside Ken Griffey Jr. in Seattle. That's how old school I am. So this being said,
Wow.
yes, I know, scary, huh? I look pretty good for a senile old man. So basically, that being said, TNA is now officially in panic mode. Royal Rumble is just a couple of months away, and the rumors are swirling around that Matt Hardy and possibly his brother Jeff and a few others, including Moose, Moose, could possibly be making guest surprise appearances at the Royal Rumble. That literally, if indeed this is true, that Vince McMahon has actually sat here and already written out the check for TNA, that maybe, just maybe, we may see at least three of the top superstars that are still with TNA and haven't already jumped ship. I'm looking straight at you, Bobby, James, Eric. You know who you are. And now the question is, and I pose this to you, gentlemen. Will TNA survive long enough to see January 1st, 2017? Will they still be in business come New Year's Day? Or will this be the last 2 months that Impact Wrestling is open for business?
I think they will make it to January.
Whoa.
Here's why. And I'm not going to say what happened, but at the previous tapings, they've already taped enough shows to make it through December. So they're at least going to get past December at least. With that being said, I think they'll make it to probably, I'm going to say March, and then they'll probably go under. You know what? I'm going to have to, and this is crazy, I might have to start drinking again. I agree with Doug.
What?
I agree with Doug, because here's the thing. When you have Bobby Lashley going on this whole entire like King of the Mountain type deal with the crowning of like every title, it really got boring to me at that point, because you're basically building up Bobby Lashley to be your Brock Lesnar. And let's be honest, I mean, nothing against Bobby, but there's some type of line you have to draw for yourself to build your character up. And not saying that he can't whip ass, but
Yeah, it's kind of one of these things now with the fact that they're already pretty much doing the Goldberg thing, so they're not doing a WrestleMania, they're doing a Survivor Series. In case you didn't know, that's basically going on, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people still have a lot to say in regards to the World Series situation, and of course to the Bill Goldberg possibilities that is actually happening. But this one's probably, well, there you go, there is that. But is this basically? I'm wondering if this is a way for them to basically say that Bobby Lashley is going to basically show up. That Bobby Lashley is going to face, dare I say it, that Bobby Lashley could possibly be facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. They're pushing more for that one than they are for Brock Lesnar versus The Rock.
I gotta be honest here, because this is the first I'm hearing about Lashley and Lesnar if it happens. Of the three, counting that one, Rock and Lesnar and Goldberg and Lesnar and Mania, I prefer Lashley and Brock. Hey, Bobby, he still wrestles. Goldberg, last time he wrestled was back when I was still in fucking high school. The Rock, I'm sorry, he more cares about doing, I'm going to star in an animated kids film by Pixar that was out this year about a volcano that wants to kill people.
Mr. Jones, are you rendered speechless? Yep, he's rendered speechless. Well, that's pretty much about the basic the best way to say it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our final commercial promo break, and we're going to take some time to sit here and actually just let people just soak in. Forget about the gift of Jericho. Forget about the gift of everything. This, my friends, is the gift of the captain. I just want you to chug it in, man. Chug it in. And if you don't, oh, I know, but damn, I'm a dirty boy. I'm an Oklahoma dirty boy. Anyway, if you don't come back, well, you will be deleted. Delete, and then you end up on the list. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome home, where the faucets drip at night. Welcome home, where the screen door don't hang right. Welcome home, the only place you'll ever fight.
Finally, Eli Drake actually does some good for me. Dummy, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. That was our last commercial. That was our last little quick commercial break. I don't even know why we're taking commercial breaks because, quite frankly, we don't have one of those little digital moments. But now, because of what we were talking about during the break, we do have a couple of digital moments, which we'll actually post up for you when this show actually goes live in just a few hours. Now, we get to the part where Doug's actually been waiting for. He's been scratching around his paper. He's been kind of sending little tweets to me, telling me, hey, are we going to do this now or what? Are we going to do it now or what? Well, Doug, get your paper ready because we are doing it right now. Like right now. We are literally going to the NFL. But first,
I got my pick.
See, what I tell you? Told you. It's been like this literally all damn day. Now, here's the biggest thing. The NFL is literally in a shitstorm right now. The ratings last year were through the roof while these are actually in the toilet. Has been proven. Now, everybody's got it two different ways. They're saying that either the games aren't as enjoyable as they used to be because of the current protest or just because the games aren't as fun as advertised. Now, it may have something to do with basically the fact that Tom Brady had been gone for the first month of the season, maybe. But even then, this is actually pretty depressing that we are now still many months later. If you've been under a rock, Colin Kaepernick started a trend that has been literally going over and over and over and over and over, which I will touch all about the Kaepernick situation and later on when we do our infamous callouts. Stay tuned for that one. But before we even continue, the ratings are shit. So let's go to the picks. Not our ratings. Our ratings are through the roof. It's their ratings that suck. So first game on the docket. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Chicago versus Green Bay in Lambeau Field on Thursday night. Doug Barrett, we had this conversation yesterday during your big pick show, so I'm going to let you sit there and twiddle your thumbs for a moment. I'm actually going to get our second guest in on this one. Mr. Jones, who do you got?
Chicago versus Green Bay. Is this even a game?
Apparently it is. It's on the slate. I'm pretty sure it probably had a good feeling like the beginning of the season, but when you got Jay Cutler pretty much in there and Alshon Jeffrey looking pissed off all the time, I'm guessing it's probably not going to be too hard to sit here and decide who that's going to be.
Remember, Jay Cutler's been benched.
Oh,
He
yes.
hasn't played in the last few weeks.
Poor Jay Cutler. Anyway, would you like to at least make a pick just for the sake of argument?
You know what? I'm going to have to give it to Green Bay.
I figured you would. If it makes y'all feel any better, the hometown boy, Ryan Young, who hosts this Ringside Report and, of course, Windy City Sports Talk, actually is such a diehard fan that I believe he is actually still going with Chicago to actually do something. Because he's figuring in his head that Chicago can do what Dallas did just a few days ago. And I just don't see that happening. But he does. So more props to him. So we move on to the Nets game, which I actually asked this question about this game that Mr. Jones just asked about from the previous game. In London, England, you cheeky bastards, we have Sir Eli Manning and the New York Giants going up against one of the many broken, obsolete mules of Los Angeles, the Rams. Doug, I will allow you to proceed first.
I got a better question before I make this pick. Is Odell Beckham Jr. bringing his lovely wife, the kicking net, with him to this game?
As far as I know, they're actually setting up a meeting between Odell Beckham, the Nets, and the Queen. So as far as I know, yes, they will both be in London, England, come Sunday.
I'd rather know about that if they've consummated the marriage or not. But as far as for my pick, I'm going with the Giants on this one. While yes, the Rams defense has been looking pretty good this year, I'll give them that. But their offense is so bad. I mean, just listen to this. Todd Gurley of the Rams this year, only 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. A lot of people expecting more of him. That's not all his fault because the Rams offense is fucking atrocious, terrible, obsolete, delete, crap, shit, fuck, god damn, you would want to watch a WNBA game to watch the fucking Rams. Go Giants.
Okay. Teashaun, what do you got for me?
Oh man, I don't know. You know, I really don't know. I'm at the bar on this one.
It's actually more along the lines of basically who do you think will suck less in this game? I guess it's a better way to actually ask that question. And I will be the lone wolf on this one, even though it pains me because I usually say STL and not LA. The flag says it all. I'm still going to stick with it. I say in England, in Merrio, England, the bloody cocksuckers from Los Angeles will outjoust and bully the New York Gents. Bully, 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 bully. Hurrah, hurrah. Huh. Now that I got that English crap out of my way, let's go back to the States, people, shall we? How about the Nets, the worst? This is probably going to be the worst week in the NFL. Let's just be as realistic as possible. This is going to be the shittiest week in the NFL. Why? Because we're going to the shitty game number 3. Cleveland. He's already started. The Cleveland. No. It's not. No, wait. Stop. It's not the Browns. Oh, I'm sorry. It is the Browns, but it's not the Cavs. It's not the Indians. So at least that way, Cleveland can still smile. And people will probably actually go to the game because they're kind of figuring in their heads, fuck it. Our team's going to be hoisting up a championship banner in a couple of days, and our other team's going to be playing in the World Series. Who gives a shit? Let's just go watch the Browns play for a minute. Cleveland will be traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. And I think we all pretty much were in agreement with this one. Doug, if I understand this correctly, you were actually going with Cincinnati to actually get a easy win over the Browns.
I'm sorry, the Browns are 0-6. At this point, I'm going to say this, and I mean no disrespect to any of the athletes unless you play for the Browns. I think Teashaun Jones could be the quarterback, I could be the running back, and Captain Ark could be the wide receiver, and we would actually win this fucking game if we were playing. So,
I think I'm good on that one. Mr. Jones, who are you thinking?
Cleveland, Cincinnati. I'm calling it now. And next show, you just make me for this. Cincinnati, 3, Cleveland, 16. Damn.
Wow. I will actually say or stick with the pick that I did actually mention yesterday. I am the only person on the planet besides my big brother, Evil Bob, a.k.a. Mike Frazee, that actually believes that Cleveland will actually get a win. And why is that? Because Cleveland actually held a candle against Tom Brady and the Patriots in Brady's first game back in Cleveland's backyard, and they almost made it an actual ball game. Cincinnati showed up for the first half, and then they decided to stay in the locker room because apparently Tom Brady scared them that damn much. I don't trust Andy Dalton right now, man, not because he's a ginger, but because his name is Andy fucking Dalton, and he's from TCU. Never trust a quarterback. Never trust a quarterback from the Big 12. That's the rules. Don't believe me? Ask Chris Sims. Ask Landry Jones. Hell, you can even ask Vince Young if you can find him on some street corner, probably right next to Val Venus' pot shop. And, of course, Buff Bagwell's escort service. I stand corrected. I'm still taking Cleveland because it's going to be a good week to be in Cleveland.
Wow.
Yeah, I am that cold-blooded.
I didn't know I could pick Cleveland with a straight face. I would literally have to be on crack, drugs, whatever the fuck Cody was smoking last night on air before I even think about picking the Browns.
Well, I'm gonna.
But here's the thing. I'm not dissing the Browns. It's just a fact. It's just a fact that there's been a couple of games where I've seen the Browns go up against Cincinnati, and they just usually come up short. And from what I've seen in their last game, the Browns games.
Oh wow! Speaking of the Browns. Oh.
In the words of Charles Barkley, it's so terrible, man. It's so terrible.
Oh, speaking of the Browns and the Cavs apparently were sending congratulatory Instagrams and Snapchats to the Cleveland Indians. And Kenny Lofton is still alive. He even saluted them. Dick Vitale is also saluting the Indians. And holy shit on a cracker, Drew Carey. Hey, Doug, the price is right this time, bitch. Ha 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 ha.
That's because Drew Carey's so fucking had a show in Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, damn, you could probably paint himself to look like a fucking Indian, and they would show support for Cleveland. Shit.
It's Drew Carey. What'd you expect? In any event, we move on. We're out of Ohio for a little bit. We go right into Michigan, where obviously it's going to be a big weekend with the Wolverines basically vying to basically overtake the Ohio State Buckeyes with that game looming between the two biggest rivals in the Big Ten. We have ourselves a little NFL intramural match between the Washington Redskins, who have quietly found themselves right in the midst of the NFC East division race, going up against the Detroit Lions, who have quietly found a way to actually win games without Megatron. Washington, Detroit, Mr. Jones, take it on.
Man, Washington. Redskins. Dig it.
Doug?
I'm picking the Redskins on this one. They're 4-2 since starting 0-2. Actually, as a matter of fact, after the loss to the Cowboys, they've been hotter than an NFL cheerleader. Redskins win this game simply because their defense is a beast.
Yeah, you like that, don't you? You like that. I still can't get that out of my head. I'm also going to go Washington, and there's no need to basically say it because, quite frankly, I said Josh Norman's a beast. I'm sticking with that. Josh Norman will basically own some mofos coming up this weekend. Get ready for that, Matthew. Now, we move on to a game that actually was laughable at the beginning of the year, but now, not so much. We have the Oakland Raiders, who I actually tweeted was the hottest team in the AFC and probably the best team in the AFC right now, and I pretty much, you can quote me on that. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, actually enough, nobody can laugh at the Jaguars right now because they actually are better than the defending NFC champion Panthers. So I dare say, Douglas, what do you got?
As much as I said it yesterday, and I'm going to say it again, the Raiders have proven me wrong. They're actually pretty good. I am taking the Raiders on this one. My biggest problem with the Jaguars, and I said it yesterday, they're a young team as well, but their biggest disadvantage, and what's going to cost them, is Blake Bortles. I think he's thrown an interception at least in every game this year. That's not a good thing. That's why their record is pathetic at 2-3.
It is the Jaguars. You realize that, right?
Yeah, I do realize that, so.
There you go. Mr. Jones?
You know what? I was going to pick the Raiders to win this one, but I see an upset.
Say what now?
I need to go find that photo of Jack.
Yeah.
I see an upset.
This is your upset?
I think it's going to be an upset. I mean, like Doug said, the Raiders have proven me wrong. Sometimes I laugh out. I'm like, whoa, you serious?
Bruh.
I would point out one more thing before everyone else is writing their pick down, because I have the thing up. The Raiders are 3-0 on the road. They have not lost a road game yet. Keep that in mind.
Well, any given Sunday, anything can happen. I mean, we are seeing the Indians in the playoffs for the first time since I think all of us were in high school.
Yeah.
Yes, Doug. I'm going to keep rubbing that one in your face. That's gonna be beautifully. It's gonna be.
I hope my episode tickets right then, so I can rub it in your face next week.
It's gonna be not only magnificent. It's gonna be glorious. Don't worry, I don't have that song. Don't worry, I don't have that song stashed away anywhere. I don't think. I might. Who knows?
Oh, damn it. I do. I got it on
You
my
know what?
calendar.
You know what? Just for the sake of argument, because of the fact that you said that, you know what? I'm gonna find it for you, there, Douglas. I'm going to actually do it for you because I am that nice of a guy. I am that guy. And while I'm actually looking this up, folks, we'll move on to the next game on the slate. Another game that has some interesting, maybe upset possibilities in it. Dare I say, it's going to be the New Orleans Saints, Mr. T5 squad of the Saints, taking on my cousin's own favorite team as of late, the Kansas City Chiefs, the proud supporters of the Raw Universal Championship, no less. Ladies and gentlemen, this should be fun. Doug, because of what I'm gonna do to you. Go ahead. I'll let you take first jab at this one.
All right, I'm taking Kansas City Chiefs on this one. It's hard to win on the road. They're 2-0 at home. And the biggest problem with the Saints, well, I love Drew Brees and I rarely bet against him. The biggest problem for the Saints this year has been that terrible defense they have. I mean, just listen to this. All games this year, when they lost to Oakland, they gave up 35 points. Lost to the Giants, 16. Lost to the Falcons, 45 points they gave up. And even the two games they've won, San Diego, they gave up 34, and then the one against Carolina, they gave up 38 points defensively. Their defense is so bad. I said a Roman Reigns match is better than the New Orleans defense. Ouch.
Yep, he is. He is Doug Barrett, ladies and gentlemen. You can find him at Doug Barrett on Instagram and, of course, on Twitter. And you can find him at Gamer Kings on YouTube as well. And you can check out his YouTube channel in case you ever want to drop a bomb to him or tell him how much of an asshole he is. You can always find him here on TLC every single week. Mr. Jones, please clean this up, will you?
Oh, wow. I don't know how you can clean that up because, unfortunately, he's right. I mean, I've been watching this Saints game and it's just kind of like, wow. Just, damn. But you can never, but you can never give up. Not talking about Cena, but I'm gonna have to give it to the Saints on this one. I can't really hate them, but other than the fact that they need to really tighten up their defense. I mean, really tighten up their defense because, good God.
I'm actually going to go in New Orleans as well. And the reason why I'm going to go in New Orleans is because of the fact that Drew Brees probably has one of the best records against the AFC West than anybody else. He actually is better than Tom Brady because he's actually beaten Tom Brady in all 3 times these two have met each other. Drew Brees is 3-0 against Tom Brady. So when you say that Brock Lesnar's the 1-21-1, well, Drew Brees is the 3-0-3 in Tom Brady's case, and it's probably going to drive him up a damn wall when it actually comes down to it. Now, since Drew Brees has joined the Saints, he has literally owned the AFC West. He literally cannot be stopped against the AFC West ever since he literally signed with New Orleans. So in all fairness, I'm actually going to go New Orleans because of the fact, quite frankly, I just cannot get behind the Kool-Aid Man and his infamous magic motivation to basically make WWE relevant by lending his shirt to their championship strap. So I'm gonna make T5 proud, and I'm gonna go with them Saints. Who dat? And that's not only a great pick, that, my friends, is You're welcome, Doug. You brought this.
I was actually singing the words or whispering the words when that song was playing to the head.
Ha ha ha! Told you. All right, next game on the slate, my friends.
I did it too.
Yeah, I've been doing it plenty of times. I mean, I was sitting here throwing my arms up in the air. I mean, trust me, you'll see it. You'll see it when this summit is on. Next game we have Buffalo and Miami.
Oh yeah.
Now this one was also a laughable game at the beginning of the year because pretty much figured, it's Miami Buffalo. These guys always get beat up by the Patriots. Keep this in mind. Upset. The Buffalo Bills actually a couple of weeks ago started their winning streak after firing their offensive coordinator. Not only beat the Patriots, but shut out the Patriots and gave them their first loss in over a decade at home. Period. The last time the Patriots were shut out, I think that basically one of my sons was still in diapers. Plain and simple. That's about how long it's been since I've seen the Patriots lose at home with Tom Brady at quarterback. It was so bad. Peyton Manning has always had problems beating Tom Brady in Foxborough, and you're telling me the Buffalo Bills, led by, dare I say it, Tyrod Taylor, actually beat the New England Patriots. And Miami not only beat the Steelers, beat them handily, convincingly, and on top of that, also injured Big Ben Roethlisberger. Thank you, Miami. Your gift basket is on its way. In fact, your gift basket should be there right about now in any event. It's the same gift basket I was actually going to give my ex-wife, but I decided the bitch didn't deserve it, so I'm sending it to you guys instead. Hope you like it. Except for that strippergram. You might not like that part. In any event, Buffalo and Miami used to be a trash talker, but right now it is. Yes, yes, Buffalo and Miami is. That being said, and I know pretty much we're all still singing right now, Buffalo actually is on a winning streak right now. Right now, heading into this game against Miami, 3 straight wins over the Patriots, the Rams, and the 49ers. All 3 teams, former Super Bowl champions. Only one of them has actually a Super Bowl MVP, let alone a actually good quarterback. Now they go to Miami, where of course they're still trying to decipher the Da Vinci Code down there, and of course the reasoning being of how in the hell is it possible that they can play football in Miami in the rain, but they can't play football in the rain in Tampa Bay. Don't get it. Don't understand it. We'll get to that one in a moment. Gentlemen, Buffalo, Miami, go. I don't even care who starts it. Run with it.
Well, you know what? I got Buffalo on this one. And you said it yourself. Their winning streak.
Ooh, there it is.
And I also have the Bills for this reason. I am looking back at the winning streak they started. If you count the first 2 games they lost, their defense was shit, terrible, disgusting, bad. But since the winning streak, they beat Arizona 33-18. They beat the Patriots 16-0. They beat the Rams 30-19, and they killed the Niners 45-16.
So it was
Their
45
defense has finally shown the hell up. And if I'm Miami, I got some bad news for you. Your offensive line is going to get carved up and become a nice little delicious snack for all the kitties out there and cats in the world after Sunday.
That being said, I'm going straight Buffalo. I pretty much said it best. That offense may not be 100% clicking, but they're clicking enough to sit here and get the job done. And I can honestly say that it's going to feel real good to actually sit here and see that defense show up that good deed down in South Beach. It's going to be awesome. Moving on to a game that's pretty much easy. I don't even know. I mean, I even want the reasons behind it, why this game is going to suck, because we all know it. But this is basically the Mama Barrett special. Yes, the Mama Barrett special, ladies and gentlemen. Baltimore taking on the New York Jets. I'm just going to say that we're all just in agreement that Baltimore pretty much is going to own this game with Geno Smith at quarterback for the Jets.
Yeah. Jets haven't won at home yet this year. They're starting Geno Smith. Their defense has been questionable. As a matter of fact, doing what I do best, going to how they did overall, the only one win was against the Bills in week 2. Since then, 24-7 loss, 27 to 17 loss, 31 to 13 loss, and they just lost to Arizona 28 to 30. This team is so bad. There's a chance that they could actually take the #1 draft pick away from the Cleveland Browns. That's how bad they are.
That's because the Cleveland Browns are going to win this Sunday, which basically will get them at least one more win closer to the #2 pick.
Here's why. The Jets and Browns play against each other in a few weeks. That could determine who gets the first-round pick.
Ah, well, there is that too. Damn it. Should we actually move on to a game that actually has some meaning? I mean, it seems like all these games we've done have kind of been like, maybe. How about this one then?
Yes, please.
How about our first game of the week? And I can give you some good news on it. It doesn't involve the Broncos or the Steelers or the Patriots or the Seahawks, or for that matter, it doesn't even involve the Packers or the Cowboys. It actually involves two teams that nobody saw coming. Ladies and gentlemen, the Philadelphia Eagles, led by Carson Wentz, will take on the 5-0 Minnesota Vikings, who don't have Teddy Bridgewater, don't have Adrian Peterson, but have Sam Bradford at quarterback?
Yeah, it's amazing that they're winning with him.
Well, I think it's pretty much safe to say. Who do you got? Mr. Jones, take it away.
Let's see. Minnesota Vikings and Philadelphia.
I know, right? I never thought I'd see the day where this would actually be a hard game to pick.
Damn. In the back of my head, I hear Earl Tate saying, pick the Eagles. But on the other hand, I'm like, I don't know. Geez, you have to come back to me on this one.
Oh, fair enough. But thank you for basically letting us know what the Great Tate's pick is. Big salutes out to the Great Tate. I did get a chance to catch one of his nice little videos. And in case you guys are wondering, while we got basically Doug basically going through his little shuffles, because we already know he's pretty much picking, we're actually going to say a special little program announcement. In case you haven't noticed, that Mr. Jones is basically a guru of a lot of things. He does actually have a Facebook group called Face Off Generations, which myself, Mr. Barrett, and Mr. Jones participate in. Also, the Great Tate, as we've called him, aka Earl. Now, all that being said, if you've never checked out Face Off Generations, if you're a big diehard wrestling fan, you definitely got to take a look at that. Take a look at that page, because literally the matches that these guys come up with, they blow everybody's minds. Well, sometimes, unless they put Giant Gonzalez and Kamala in any style match whatsoever involving anybody else. Then we got ourselves a little bit of a problem. But that's besides the point. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, living proof. In any event, if you have not checked out Face Off Generations, definitely check it out on Facebook.com and literally join in on the fun, because the conversations and debates on these matches, they're actually relatively flipping good. And of course, in case you don't know it, Overload is, I believe, on Tuesday, Mr. Jones?
We try to get it after, well, you can say Tuesday midnight. You can join us maybe half an hour after all to go over Raw reviews and, just come there to have fun, shoot the breeze.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you've never actually done that one, then definitely check out Overload as well, hosted by Teashaun Jones and El Cibernetico. These guys literally are good at what they do, so if you've never seen their show, definitely tune in for that one. And if somebody does actually find El Cibernetico, tell him to tell his Dodgers to get the hell up and actually beat the Cubs. Just saying. In any event, Doug. Yeah, I know. That was just a cheap pop. Doug, we kind of actually debated on this one earlier today, so we're going to keep it short and sweet on this one, Doug. Are you still convinced that, how do I put this nicely, that's actually still going to happen? Oh, Doug, are you certain that Philly will never win this one? Are you convinced that, in all honesty, that what we're going to see quite frankly, coming up in a couple of days is Minnesota going 6-0, and that we will see, dare I say it, oh, yeah. That just happened, ladies and gentlemen. Purple Rain has become a theme. God rest the man's soul. Rest in peace to Prince. Your legacy, and your legend status are intact thanks to the Minnesota Vikings, who have gone 5-0 ever since the infamous nickname of the Purple Rain defense has actually become not just a thing, but it's literally the number one trending worldwide next to, dare I say it, James Ellsworth. So let's put here and call it exactly the way we see it right now. I actually say that Philadelphia will actually pull off an upset on Sunday. I'm actually with Tate on this one. Philly will beat Minnesota. It will be a close game. It will be a nail biter. It will be a damn good game. But I still say that the Eagles, I stick to that pick. The Eagles will beat the Vikings on Sunday. Doug, are you sticking with the Minnesota Vikings?
I am sticking with the Minnesota Vikings. Their defense is just too damn good. The Eagles, and here's the sad thing with the Eagles. The last two games, they've lost to two teams they technically should have beaten, the Lions and the Redskins team whose offense ain't that good. Now you're playing against a team whose defense is a monster and will eat them alive. If this was Thanksgiving, the Eagles would be the turkey.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just running through the motions. So, Mr. Jones, you've had some time.
You know what? Damn it. Sorry, Tate, I have to go with this. I'm going with the Vikings. Not just because of Prince. but, their defense is pretty damn good. Their offense is good too, but it's questionable. But I do see them coming up the victor. Sorry, Tate, you're gonna hate me for this. That's all right. Tate already hates me enough as it is. So.
Oh, that being said, I'm actually gonna bypass the last 11 o'clock game. I'm gonna save that one for later in the show for basically the call out portion. Doug, you already know what it is, so I'm gonna just let you simmer on that one. I'm gonna skip that game and go straight to. We all sit here and make all these crazy little picks. Let's just go to games that actually are going to mean something. Let's start with San Diego taking on Atlanta. Atlanta coming off with the controversial play that they're saying, blah, 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 who gives a rat's ass. It was entertaining for 5 seconds. San Diego, on the other hand, actually coming off of a big win over the Broncos, and now they feel like they can pretty much take on the world. But they have not fared well against the NFC South so far this year. So, San Diego, Atlanta, Mr. Jones, is Atlanta about to sit here and curb stomp Phillip Rivers deeper into his own abyss?
You know what? I'd say Eagles going to win.
Wait. I'm sorry. I must have had something in my ear. What did you just say? What?
It's too early to drink yet, man. Don't make me drink right now.
What? Did he just what? San Diego's gonna win? What?
No. I could be wrong. I hope you're wrong.
Okay.
Okay, I'm wrong. I just wanted to see how it felt to be an asshole.
You already are an asshole. You're on this show.
If you felt to be an asshole, you need to come to my class.
You're on this show, for crying out loud. You're already an asshole. Even Kendra knows that one. Even my sister knows that, for Christ's sake. Come on. She knew that one the minute she said it was like, I'm about to marry an asshole, and I'm proud of it. She knew that already.
Okay.
Yes.
Really taking San Diego? Yeah, I'm taking Sandy.
Wow.
Oh, God.
And Doug, I'm assuming you're going with the ATL?
I'm still going with Atlanta. San Diego is not one is suspect as all
I'm
fuck.
sorry.
No offense.
Wait. Actually, wait. Stop. I'm sorry. Did you just say their offense was impressive? Their offense was impressive. They would have beat a dismal Seattle Seahawks team. There's no way that pretty much is an accurate assumption on that one. I won't even give.
Well, it's more impressive than San Diego's offense.
I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, but in any event, I'm going to sit here and give credit where credit's due. There are some that are good and some that are shit, and guess what? Atlanta's offense is good, but their defense is shit. And why the hell is Tiger Woods on CBS with a big bad ball spot? You know what? No. Get off my screen, Tiger Woods. That is just disturbing. Yikes. And you're putting your old man on there too? Who gives a damn? You're black. Live with it. Actually scratch that. You're Asian on the golf course, but you're black in the bedroom. Just run with that. Run with that, Tiger. Yes, I know. Somebody, breathe. You'll be okay. Next game. This was originally a game of the week until Big Ben decided to get raped, courtesy to the Miami Dolphins. Now Big Ben is no longer playing in this game, and Tom Brady is still on a mission from his God. New England taking on Pittsburgh, and I know yesterday I said there is no way that Pittsburgh is going to win this game with a mediocre Big 12 quarterback named Landry Jones as the guy who will take on Tom Brady at Heinz Field. Yeah, I said that yesterday. And then somebody told me that Tom Brady was a big Donald Trump supporter, which made me pick New England even more. Why? Because it's Schittsburg, for crying out loud. It's Schittsburg. I would be all for Schittsburg winning this game, except for the fact that Big Ben is not playing. I don't trust Landry Jones's arm. Their running game is not going to be able to save their ass. And we're talking about running games. Well, Garrett Blunt is going to be literally running roughshod over everybody. And plus, Tom Brady got his favorite targets back, Edelman and Gronk. Give me New England all day, every day. I'll take the Patriots.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I am not a Patriot fan, but I'm gonna go Patriot. You know what? I'm gonna go for the shock here. I'm taking there's no way I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sorry. There's no chance in fucking hell they're winning this. There's a better chance of Booster winning Hell in a Cell and we capturing the U.S. title before Steelers win this Sunday. I got the Patriots.
TM Hick, you're welcome. You officially, at least for just one day, we're all Patriots fans. Kill the Steelers. That's all I'm going to say about it. Another game that pretty much had some meaning, but really nobody gives a rat's ass about, was Seattle and Arizona. But quite honestly, again, does anybody really care about this game right now? Seattle, dismal offense. Defense isn't as good as it used to be. Arizona, broken. Not in the Matt Hardy way, but just flat out broken like your girlfriend. Yeah, it's just flat out broken. Just flat out broken.
I ain't touching that. I'm not going to say that's disrespectful, but it's true. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's that. Like I said, it's pretty much as clear cut as you can make it. I mean, yes, we're supposed to actually pick these games, but I mean, really, when it's to the point where three of the greatest minds don't give two shits about who wins between a watered down chicken hawk and a bird that doesn't belong in the fucking desert to begin with, nobody gives a shit. So honestly, for the sake of argument, I'll just be nice. I'll say Seattle wins this game, but it won't be by much. It'll probably be a low-scoring affair because both offenses are just atrocious and embarrassing.
Ain't that the truth? I'm taking Seahawks as well. I mean, you know what? Everyone wants to say this past Sunday's night game was terrible. I'm sorry. At least the Colts and Texas finished on a high. I don't think Seattle and Arizona are going to finish on a high. This game is going to be so boring. People will probably flip to the Golf Channel at one point, okay? That's how boring this game's going to be.
Well, it is a Sunday night game, and bear in mind, The Walking Dead actually has its season premiere, and everybody's asking the infamous question, who got Negan'd? Yes, it's a thing. Who got #Negan'd? And yes, coincidentally, that's exactly what we're going to be looking at there. Most people are probably going to tune over and watch The Walking Dead before they actually watch this shit show known as Seattle and Arizona. Mr. Jones, do you even want to make a pick on this one? Yes, The Walking Dead.
Okay, I didn't know that was still around.
Oh, yeah. you should tune in. It's gonna be fun. My girls already told me that I am like obligated to watch because Abby, my daughter Abby, is going to be watching.
I'll watch it because Sharon Dean's dad is in it. Other than that, I think I might skip it.
No comment. Mr. Jones, do you want to make a pick in this game?
Do I have to?
No, honestly, you don't. Honestly, I don't bank on it just because of everything that's going on. I mean, honestly, I didn't even want to pick this game. It's kind of like Tampa Bay and San Francisco. It's kind of one of those games where you have to pick because it's on the docket, but other than that, no, not so much.
All right. Well, it's Seattle. It's just it's bad enough.
I know.
It's bad enough, like what you said about Arizona. I mean, there were a team that was once playoff material, and nothing against the guys that are on the field. I know they're probably listening like, well, why don't you go on the field and do what we do? This is true, but I'm not going to do that.
Now, this one actually brings us. Okay, I've given you out some shitty games today. I've given you out some really shitty games. Like I said, this is going to be the shittiest week, but we have a silver lining. It's Monday Night Football's kind of silver lining, ladies and gents. Probably the game that everybody's going to be talking about for one simple reason. Because for the first time since he gave them the fist and the finger, Brock Osweiler returns to the Mile High City, possibly to claim the national championship ring, or I'm sorry, the world championship ring. No, we're going to call it the national championship ring because, quite frankly, Brock didn't deserve it. Even though no matter how good he was, he didn't deserve what he pretty much gave. So let's call it exactly what it is. Brock Osweiler returns to Denver for the first time since he told the Broncos to go fuck themselves. As the Houston Texans will take on the Broncos on Monday Night Football, the Broncos actually sitting pretty right now, tied with the Raiders atop the AFC West, and Peyton Manning's retired. Just keep that in your head. Plus, that defense is actually a little bit scarier than they were before because of Shane Ray of the Zoo. And that being said, no J.J. Watt in this game. Houston had to recover and come back to beat the Indianapolis Colts. So, dare I say it, ladies and gentlemen, your final game of the week. Mr. Jones, because of the fact that I gave you a shitty one, this is my olive branch to you. Who do you got, Houston or Denver?
Houston or Denver? Houston or Denver? Well, I'm going to have to go with Denver.
Very
nice. The last couple games, somewhat, but they have a lot to prove to me still.
Absolutely. See, it's not just me, folks. Doug, I know you were very high up on Brock's jockstrap yesterday, so I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself here today as my phone blows up and tells me that Eddie Lacy's on injured reserve like anybody. Not a fuck was given. We move on from it. Doug, your chance, your redemption has arrived. Obviously, Mr. Jones and I are on the same page. We're both taking the Broncos. Who are you taking for the Monday Night Mayhem?
Well, as somebody told me yesterday when they watched my video, I must be batshit fucking crazy because my upset pick for Week 7 is the Houston Texans with Brock going into Denver and telling John Elway, you should have kept me, and that started the Northwestern quarterback. Texans win this game without JJ, and they shock the world.
It's actually funny you say that because Key and Peele actually sat here and they had a little skit where Peele is like this kid who goes in to go bed shopping and he's like testing out the beds and he's sitting here screaming out certain obscenities to try to basically see which bed's going to be the best one. And we're figuring the salesman's thinking it's for him and he's the one that's screaming out the obscenities until he buys the bed and they get home and they basically sit here and hear it all. Brock Osweiler is going to have to literally answer this question come Monday night. Yeah. Who got that good D? We got that good D. Yeah. Who got that good D? We got that good D. That's about as obscene as you can make it, folks. The Broncos defense is actually scarier this year than they were in the Super Bowl. We're talking about the same Broncos defense who actually managed to win a game against Cam Newton, who blamed Peyton Manning for the loss, but couldn't get the victory over the Broncos the second time around in the opening weekend of the season. This Broncos D is scary, straight up scary. Matt Ryan realized that one, and so did Phillip Rivers. You think Brock Osweiler was going to be able to come into Denver, knowing full well that defense is going to be wanting to rip his damn head off, or basically saying, you know what, I wanted the starting job, but I think I'm going to take it in Houston instead. Sorry to tell you, but I had to be the bearer of bad news for Brock Osweiler. You're a good quarterback, but you're no Peyton Manning. So get off your damn high horse and prepare for the ass beating, and I do mean that figuratively and literally, the ass beating of a lifetime that you're going to receive at the hands of Shane Ray and that nasty Broncos defense.
You know, I love the fact everyone's bringing up the Denver defense, but let's take a look at that defense again during the last two games. Yeah, they looked impressive during the first four. But look who they beat. A terrible Panthers team, a Colts team who no one knows what the fuck they're doing. A Bengals team who looks like they're missing the playoffs. And a Bucs team who suck. Now, what happened when they played Atlanta, a team that looks like a playoff team? They lost. Then they got upsetted by San Diego.
Okay.
That defense, while still somewhat good, it's suspect against better teams, or at least in the case of Atlanta. But that offense during the last 2 weeks has been terrible.
And you are giving Houston a free pass. Bear in mind, this is the team that actually sat here and had to come back and beat a dismal Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis Colts. On top of that, with Frank Gore as their running back, no less. And they had to come back and beat the Indianapolis Colts, who literally every team has handled quite easily, including the Detroit Lions. So Houston's little schedule has not been one to basically sit here and pop at. Houston has basically been a cakewalk. But when they played a tough team like, oh my goodness, the New England Patriots, they couldn't even beat the Patriots with a backup with their third string quarterback, no less. They lost to the Patriots with the third string.
I will agree with that. The Texans have not shown up well against these better teams. The only legit good win was against the Chiefs, and I might even add the Titans to that at the time to keep playing well. But looking at how it's going, while Denver's defense is impressive, I'm going to say the same thing I said about the Vikings. It's the offense I'm going to question. And I'm looking at it, if I'm going to pick an offense, I trust the Houston Texans offense a little more than Denver's offense.
He questions an offense, but still picks Minnesota to beat Philadelphia. Remember that, Vikings fans. He apparently is comfortable enough with Sam Bradford than he is with Trevor Siemian or Paxton Lynch. In any event, football is over. It's time, It's time, guys, gentlemen, guys, men of power. I think it's time for us to sit here and do something we haven't done in a while. It's called Pipe Bomb. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a moment that we pretty much have all been waiting for. It's called, as far as the TLC callouts, aka the captain's chance to pipe bomb another unfortunate dumbass. Now, if you've seen our shows in recent memory, you know that we pretty much went off on anybody, both professional and personal. Myself, I've even gone off on basically the man that I'm supposed to call a father at the end of last season. So everybody knows exactly I pull no punches when it comes down to it. But this time around, we're going to keep it sportsy-like, or somewhat sportsy-like, because I actually was informed by one of my colleagues here that apparently he really wants to sit here and go off on a certain smiling player with a really bad beard. And I also heard from another colleague that he really, really, really wants to go off on a guy who pretty much apparently is the only man that can sweat in Denver and still get a good pop. Just gonna pretty much put that one in my head. And I kind of feel like I'm gonna basically turn that floor to these gentlemen because this is what they do best. This is the best part of my broadcast because of the fact I give my guests the opportunity to sit here and actually go off on whoever they see fit to go off on. Even I've had points where even the guests want to go off on me because, quite frankly, I'm an asshole and I seem to piss people off easily more than usual. So that being said, because of the fact that I kind of heard the tangent yesterday, and with the, of course, permission of Mr. Jones, I'm going to allow Douglas Barrett to take a moment to sit here and talk about his favorite football team, his favorite quarterback, and his favorite running back. And hopefully, by the end of that conversation, he hasn't really shoved his hand too far up their asses. Doug, who is your call out for this week?
I have two, but I'm going to save the other one for later because that one's more of towards a fan base. I'm calling out a guy who I loved in college, loved watching him play. I said he would be a Super Bowl champion. I said he would do what Peyton Manning did and win a title for the Colts, and that is Andrew Luck. With that being said, Andrew Luck, you have disappointed me this year. I drafted you in fantasy thinking you were going to prove everyone wrong. But all you've done this year, and I know it's not all your fault, but you deserve most of the blame because you've been throwing bad passes, bad picks. Yes, I know your offensive line is terrible. Yes, I know Indy is not helping you, giving you talent except for Frank Gore, which I'll get to that piece of shit in a minute. You need to step the fuck up. You got an easy game with the Titans. You blew the lead. You blew the game last week on offense because you couldn't get your team back in the fucking end zone, or at least get them in field goal range to win the game against the Texans because you let your team step the foot off the throat. This week, prove me wrong. I got the Titans beating you because of how bad you play. Prove me wrong and show everyone you can still be the great athlete, the great quarterback, the Hall of Fame quarterback I know you can be. As far as Frank Gore, you piece of fucking shit. You were upset and bashing your own team you're on now, the coach, because of how they blew it and how, I wasn't expected when I came here not to get 100 yards a game. This is my first 100 yards this year. You know damn well when you went to the Colts, the game plan was going to be surrounding Andrew Luck, okay? You're not Adrian Peterson. You're not Ezekiel Elliott. You're not even a damn good running back anymore. The last time you were good was back when the 49ers actually had a football team before they decided to fire the head coach who went to Michigan and before Colin Kaepernick decided to stop studying the damn playbook, all right? So what you need to do is shut the fuck up, be happy you got a damn job, unlike most of America right now, and just at least get 50 yards again. That's all you have to do, and the coach will be fucking happy. They don't expect you to get 100, 200 yards, all right? Just shut up, take the money, and enjoy it. Now, my other pipe bomb, if you will, and I said this yesterday because it pissed me off to the point I had my face red. The Texans fans, you dumb motherfuckers. I've always said, I don't care if your team is winning by 50 points or losing by 50 points. You don't leave the fucking game. What did some of you do? You left the game in the fourth quarter when your team didn't get a damn touchdown yet. And what happened? The Texans came back to win the game. And I applauded the ones who did say, because they showed what a real fan is. You don't leave when the chips are down, because there's always a chance you can come the fuck back. But what did some of you do? You left, went home, you probably put the radio on, and you heard the great story. Oh, Brock's making this amazing comeback. And you didn't get to enjoy it because you left like a bunch of pussies. As far as I'm concerned, every one of you who left needs to hand over your damn jersey, your hat, and your season tickets so we can give it to people who actually stay for a whole fucking game. You pieces of goddamn shit.
Is your mind blown, Jet, folks? That's what we do here. This is what we do, and that's why we let him go out ape nuts on it. Now, that was just one guy, which, bravo, by the way. Now we have Mr. Jones. And if I'm understanding this right, I think I asked you this question before we went on the air. You said that there was a certain individual that you were just really, really not too thrilled with.
Oh yeah, I have a couple that I'm gonna get through, and one I already know that is probably gonna listen to this. First, I'm gonna start off with Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg. This is our first time running into each other. I will say this: congratulations. You're back in WWE for, 15 minutes? For what? A legend contract? What, to hold more people down? Goldberg, this is your issue right here. And I also blame Vince McMahon for whoever decided to bring her ass back. There's new talent. Let all the generations of racist aggression, early golden years, and, the Attitude Era, let it go. We don't want to see you back in the ring. You did your job. Fantastic. Was I a fan? No, absolutely not. Was I happy when you came back? Not really. Because, quite honestly, what have you done, dude? Seriously. Since WrestleMania. Oh, you had a couple of Legends matches, Bingo Hall. Okay, great. But why are you coming back? Seriously. Why would we want to see Brock Lesnar and Goldberg 2? Which was one of the worst WrestleMania matches of all time. And so you say, oh, you want a piece of Brock Lesnar? Okay, I'm not a fan of Brock Lesnar either, but from the looks of you and then the looks of him, he'll cheat and spit you out, dude. And since I'm here getting shit off my chest, let me talk about the Sasha Banks fans that hate Sasha Banks. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? This shit came from nothing to something. I mean, within the 4 years that she has spent training and grinding it out, she can put on the best matches that I've seen in female wrestling in years in WWE. So what I want y'all to do is sit back, drink your coffee, and shut the fuck up. And let this woman wrestle, because she can put on a wrestling clinic just like anybody else.
Wow. That was actually calmer than I expected it to be. But then again,
here's the thing. I don't want. There's an issue with Goldberg's people. Goldberg's people want me to shut the fuck up because I have said some ruthless things about Goldberg. Because Goldberg ain't nothing but hot garbage. Goldberg ain't shit. Goldberg is just hype. When he was in WCW, all they did was say, hey, we're going to let you win. We're going to make you believable. No, he's not fucking believable. Oh, you can pick up Big Show? Okay, fine. There's 1,000 other people that can do it, but they're being held back. Why? Look at Goldberg.
Well.
Oh, we'll pay you a Legends contract. Just come back and just wrestle like hot garbage. We want, and what I think what's so funny about this now is that Ryback is gone. Let's go ahead and get Goldberg. Okay.
Well, they've been chanting for Goldberg for God knows how long. They should have just stuck with the plan and actually kept Goldberg from the get-go. But apparently that was just too much for him. Apparently that was just too much for him to sit here and actually realize that, hey, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, instead of basically shoving Ryback down everybody's throats, you would have actually gone with Goldberg to begin with. But instead, you were going feed me more. We were going like, delete, who's next? Delete, who's next? Delete, who's next? But
you know what? And here's another thing. And I said it on air before.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't happy when Goldberg came back. Did I mark out? No. You know what? Who I would love to see come back better than Goldberg? Well, anybody's better than Goldberg. I'm just saying. I'd rather see Crime Time come back than Goldberg.
Yeah.
You know who would actually be better than Goldberg coming back? Gilbert.
Actually,
we have Gilbert. His name is James. What's his name?
James Ellsworth. Ellsworth. People are already chanting that. I'm actually going to buy his shirt. That's how hyped up I am about James Ellsworth.
Here's another thing. He landed a super kick better
than Dolph Ziggler.
I'm sorry, Ziggler, but I just seen him do the best sweet chin music. He did a better super kick than the Luke stage.
And that came out of nowhere, and I was just like, wow. I watched that super kick. I had to replay that super kick. I'm like, wow, that actually looked damn good.
I mean, I rewind that over and over. I'm like, man, if that was the best pick of the year. I've seen so many gifs of that, it's ridiculous.
The fact that they actually called it no chin music, that was actually pretty good too.
No chin music.
No chin music. That's exactly what they're calling it to this very moment. I mean, I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty damn good.
You know what? If they keep him around, it'll be a good thing.
It just might work on it. I mean, that's kind of one of those things. Well, this was actually a great damn show. I mean, I don't think there's really anything else that we have to. I don't think there's anybody else that we gotta pretty much go off on or literally call out or wait a minute.
Wait.
Something seems. Yeah, I know. I mean, this feels a little funky. Usually I would have somebody to. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, this is very hard. Oh, wait a minute. I do have somebody that I'd like to just get into the zone. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, TLC is currently residing in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, anybody who actually knows Albuquerque, New Mexico knows for a fact of who's actually here. That is basically multiple MMA fighters who fight for UFC, and some of them even fight for the circuits out there. In fact, I do believe that a couple of fighters are actually waiting for Sparta Combat League to actually make their way down to New Mexico, so that way they can actually start fighting for them. Here's the thing that gets me the most, and here's what pisses me off the most. For the last couple of months, I've actually, I'd say it's pretty much been about close to a year I have lived in New Mexico. I've tried to basically rid myself of basically the demons of Colorado, but apparently I cannot do that without having to sit here and come out in the open of a lot of things. Now, anybody who is actually a legitimate friend of mine knows about basically my personal demons that I've been trying to exorcise them and get them out of my system. And they know for a fact that it's been a tough road, so I know how hard it is to basically recover. But if you don't actually recover, then all you're doing is just blowing smoke. Now, anybody can talk smack about me to the costume. I don't care. You can. Do your worst. I probably have heard better. That has been a proven fact. But the minute that anybody sits here and tries to run their mouth about my unborn daughter, I'm going to choke you like a damn Smurf. I don't give a damn what gender you are. And if you happen to be a female, I can find somebody who will choke you like a Smurf, who happens to be a parent, and who happens to know what it actually feels like to have somebody have enough audacity to sit here and run their mouths about something that they don't understand. So I would like to basically say, sit down and shut up. Unless you're talking about me, keep that name out your mouth. That being said, I go on these little tangents all the time. And this tangent is no different. This one's to one UFC fighter in particular. One man who happens to live in this very city, who I have literally sat here and tried my hardest to say, hey, we know there are two sides to every story. We want to hear yours. John Bones Jones, the former UFC Light Heavyweight Champion, who is not once but twice given the fans a little bit of a penguin blowjob, so to speak. And the fact that basically he gets everybody all hyped up and gets them all riled up and ready to go. And then when it's time to basically perform, he fucks up. Now, I'm not saying that it's his fault that he fucked up. I'm not saying that he's the reason of why people are a little bit disgruntled right now. But I am going to say that over the last course of the last few months, when we've been eagerly, patiently, and respectfully waiting for John Jones to return to the UFC and fight for the Light Heavyweight Championship, he's given us reasons why we should root for everybody else. Again, Dana White, I actually said this one at the end of last season, that Dana White didn't know how the hell he was handling things because he was so focused on the fact of CM Punk. And if it's not pretty obvious that basically Brock Lesnar was the plan B in regards to in the event that John Jones kind of flakes, what more info, what more proof do you need than the fact that literally almost a few days after it's found out that John Jones will not fight Daniel Cormier for the Light Heavyweight Championship, that literally they're changing the preview and the promo and the video package to include Brock fucking Lesnar. Now, this is not taking anything away from Brock Lesnar, a hell of a fighter and everything else. It's good to actually see him actually get out there and just get it done. And that's a respectable thing. This is not even a knock on the fact that basically he's doing basically two sports at once. But Bobby fucking Lashley has been doing it pretty much since he signed with TNA. And he's been very patient with it. He's actually been able to do it countless times where he's been able to actually sit here and attend the shows, whether they're in Florida or New York or Kentucky or Mississippi or Alabama or Massachusetts or Michigan or Colorado or Washington or even New Mexico. What gets me the most about this one is that basically we have literally had to spend the entire year having Brock Lesnar shoved down our throats. Nobody gives a shit about Suplex City any fucking more. Nobody even gives a shit about the fact that basically it's pretty bad when basically you are so irrelevant that they gotta bring back a man who has not been there in 12 damn years to sit here and make you relevant in WWE again. Yes, we get it. You came up with probably the best what was one of the best taglines in WWE history, Suplex City. We all have said it. We've all have sat here and literally used that tagline. We've all probably sat here and thought we could take some of our coworkers to Suplex City. I know I am one of them. But what I can sit here and honestly sit here and tell you is that I want to see Jon Jones fight. I want to see Jon Jones fight because, quite frankly, he owes that to his fans. Let's just owe it to his fans. He owes it to himself. He owes that to his family. He owes that to his own ego that is probably bruised up more than the fucking peach that's sitting on my counter right now. That is how bad Jon Jones needs to get off his ass and fight. And this is pretty much at the point where I honestly have to sit here and say that it's time for Jon Jones to get up, stand up for your right. Yeah, that just went into a Bob Marley reference, and I fucking love that much. That is how passionate I am about this shit that I do. People are sitting here literally going around the rumors. The rumor mill has been running rampant that basically this was supposed to be, basically this season was supposed to happen. That season 7 was going to be our last season. I cannot help the very fact that I am passionate about this so badly that I would actually, by the graces of the good Lord himself, last longer than Nip Tuck, Rescue Me, and Sons of Anarchy, 3 of probably everybody's favorite fucking shows, starring probably 3 of everybody's favorite leading men, Julian McMahon, Dennis Leary, and Charlie Hunnam, respectfully. Now, this is season 8, and this is not going to be the last season. Hell, we're just getting warmed up. And while Goldberg is sitting here getting ready for his final match, part 2, and while we're trying to figure out a reason to watch Hell in a Cell coming up, and while everybody's sitting here hoping and praying and wishing that the Patriots sit here and right the ship and finally put some correction into the NFL, don't hold your breath. The one thing that matters the most, this is me. I can personally do this one because I am in town. I'm not very much afraid. I came to your backyard to call you out, Jon Bones Jones. Jon Jones, you have a side of this story too. But you apparently, Dana White has got you by the balls so tightly that you can't even sit here and tell your side of the story because you have to stay quiet. We all know, we've all heard the tales, we've all seen it. Hell, I've even taken shots at you because of some of the things I've sat here and seen before me. So, Jon Jones, this is my challenge to you. Come sit in my pit. Come sit in my octagon. Come chill at my spot. Tell me your side of what happened. We know what was going on. We know the Chael Sonnen fight pretty much was the start of that downward spiral. We all know this, and you recovered long enough to sit here and make yourself an interim champion, only to get dropped. Anthony Johnson is arguably the best light heavyweight we got out there, and the reason why he has not gotten that title shot yet is because the people want to see the real fight. Jon Jones versus Anthony Johnson. Not because of the fact that there's this big possibility that this could be a big money-making moment for Dana White. I could give 2 shits about it, whether it makes money for Dana White or not. It's what the people want. It's what the fans deserve. And it's exactly what's best for business. Daniel Cormier is not that worthy of being a light heavyweight champion. He's a wrestler who literally has already proven that that's all he's got. You take away the wrestling, he ain't really got shit. Jon Jones proved that one the last time these two fought. Nobody wants to see a rematch of that. Give us something that basically can get the blood flowing. Anthony Johnson versus Jon Jones makes more sense. So Jon Jones, even if I got to come to your gym, to your backyard, to basically get you to actually sit here and sit down, speak your mind from your heart, from your soul, be the man that everybody knows that you can be, and that is the most dangerous man in the UFC. So Jon Jones, the ball is in your court yet once again. Your Twitter's going to get blown up. Your Instagram's going to get blown up because I'm going to keep coming for you. I'm going to keep coming for you because of the fact that I know that you want to say something. I know you want to talk. I know you want to be able to sit here and tell your fans, fans exactly how you feel and how sorry you are about the fact that you let them down. And you did let them down because they didn't get the fight they wanted. They didn't get that fight, that super fight between you and Daniel Cormier. They got a shit show involving Mark Hunt and some mediocre has-been who just doesn't know when to just go home and chop a fucking tree down, known as Brock damn Lesnar. And if you think that I'm afraid of Brock Lesnar, I'm in Albuquerque, bitch. All you got to do is just come on down. I'm not that intimidated by you. And quite frankly, Brock, to use your own line, I don't give a shit about your kids. So, UFC, you may not like the fact that I'm saying this. You may even hate the fact that basically in this day and age now, that even some of your own commentators are fed up with the shitstorm that's going on. But what you're probably going to hate more than anything else is the fact that you know that I'm right. And that this super fight will happen. And I guarantee you that when the smoke clears and it's all said and done, that John Jones versus Anthony Johnson for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship will be just as exciting as Amanda Nunes versus Ronda Rousey. Ladies and gentlemen, this Whataburger moment was brought to you by Whataburger. Yes, that's right. Whataburger. Damn good sandwich. And shockingly enough, these sodas go great with whiskey. This has been a great call-out moment. Any final thoughts? I pretty much had to dish out. I think we just did. Mr. Barrett, where can our illustrious fans find you when you're not invading TLC?
Of course, you can find me on Facebook. Just look for the King logo from Tekken. Just type in that. You can also find me on YouTube at Doug Barrett 619 Part 2. I do NFL picks. I do Let's Plays. I should know, if you have any children, do not watch my videos because I'm sick and tired of getting fucking emails complaining about how your children not know how Superman has sex with a dead corpse, or Batman's been trying to fuck Catwoman with a batarang the last few years. I don't need to hear your complaints. If your kids are watching my videos, that's your damn fault, not mine.
Word. Mr. Jones, where can they find you when you haven't taken a trip to TL City?
Well, you can find me at Facebook, Face on Generations. You can also go to YouTube, just type in Teashaun Jones, subscribe, and you can find me here. Well, you can find me on Overload. You can find me in multiple places, but just not another one bad. That's all I got to say.
And you can also find yours truly, the Captain, on Instagram at Captain TLC, also Omega TLC on Twitter. Find me on Facebook at Captain.Ron.Johnson. Of course, our show's page at Facebook.com/TLC Sports page. And our YouTube channel is back up and running, so you can obviously find me there. So I am pretty much all over the place. And just so we can prove this, achievement unlocked. No Chin Music is now trending on Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome. That is probably the bomb diggity craziest shiznit I have ever heard and seen in my life. No Chin Music grows rampant. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been... Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead, because I'm about to have some fun. Really, you guys? No Chin Music. I know. No Chin Music. And ladies and gentlemen, that's usually how it goes. This has been the Captain Ron Johnson on behalf of Mr. Teashaun Jones, representing Ohio, but at least for the next 2 weeks, representing Cleveland. And of course, for the man, the anti-Cleveland man, yeah, I said it, aka Armando Dougie Estrada. Yep, I did that. This has been TLC. Welcome to season 8. It's only going to get worse from here. Worse as in good. More notorious. Always running things. We'll see you guys next week. And we're out. Oh, one more thing. Tiger Blow. Love you, Abby.